Tonight on America, The Conversation, Andrew and Tim discuss Republican presidential candidate and the love child of a failed businessman and the physical embodiment of Reddit, Vivek Ramaswamy. Should this Donald Trump political clone that wants to raise the voting age to 25 be president? The answer is absolutely not. Oh my god, is that a real question or are you just stupid? I don't think you're stupid, I just think that might be a stupid question. Oy. You can find out why Vivek Ramaswamy should not be president tonight on America, The Conversation.
Hello and welcome to America, The Conversation, brah. I'm your host, Tim Philippi, and with me is my hard man, brah, Andrew Turner. What's up, brah?
Hey, bro, we should audit the Fed.
Yeah, we should get rid of the IRS and make the voting age 25. And also Vanguard, pretty cool group. Love the Pinkertons too. Love the Pinkertons. I can't.
Let's go back to the gold standard, bro.
The gold standard. No, okay.
Hell yeah.
No.
Cryptocurrency.
Take your hat off. This is awful.
Yeah.
Nobody. We're gonna get demonetized for just being awful. We're doing this because Vivek Ramaswamy is the embodiment of a pop color come to life. That's what I was going for. And
can I get rid of this, please?
Yes,
you made
please.
me do this.
I
feel exploited.
didn't make you do that. You just followed my lead, and I'm wearing a
well, yeah, that's fair.
terry cloth hot shirt in a 90-degree room, so this is great. Commitment to the joke, though. Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy, the young man's Trump, I guess, or a carbon copy-ish of Trump. At least the hand motions, the philosophy, the steamroll kind of what'd you call it, talking over everybody all the time.
He's the Pepsi Crystal of fascism.
Pepsi Crystal of fascism. What was Pepsi Crystal? Was that the sugary one or like extra sugar or?
You were old enough to know what.
I don't remember what it was. No, I know what it is.
Late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, gross. It sounds gross.
Know.
So yeah,
it was Sprite, right?
Yeah, I think. Oh, that might have been it. It might have been like Sprite. It was definitely. Yeah, no, I think it tastes like Pepsi, but it's clear. So I don't know what they did there. I know they released the throwback stuff a while ago, and I bought one.
Oh my god, you're right. It resembles a standard Pepsi, but it has no color.
Oh yeah, okay. So I'm like, dude, then what is in Pepsi?
No caramel.
My god.
Making it less acidic.
I don't know, man. Like, I know my grandpa used to dump Pepsi on his car battery to get the acid off of it. He should have just got a new car battery. But
it works with Coke too. I think that's carbonation.
Yeah, I know it is. But like Pepsi's super
yeah.
acidic and like it's like I always when I drink Coke or Pepsi, Pepsi always feels like my tongue feels worse. You know what I mean? Like RC even worse than that. Like
that's just your Southern pride.
Maybe. That's my
Southern
pride was real. I'd just be drinking Dr. Pepper all day, but
yeah. I drink Dr. Pepper all day as a man who lives in New Hampshire.
I had two friends.
So good. It's the best soda.
Two of my friends growing up in the same week drank a boy and a girl. They drank so much Dr. Pepper in 1 week that they both got kidney stones. They were best friends. They got kidney stones. Both had to go to the fucking hospital, and because they drank 32 Dr. Peppers in a day or something like that. Like both of them just like were at home, just chugging a case of Dr. Pepper, watching TV or something. Like, what is wrong with you two? Oh my God! Now they're proud parents, and I love them both. I hope you both are doing well if you're watching. You know who you are.
Good news, their kids may not be able to vote until they're 25.
Oh yeah, especially with Vivek. Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, this one, like we watched him all morning. I watched him thinking, there's going to be like 3 things we can just talk about. No, there's so much more. I'm just going to read off a few off of this list of like watching him get grilled by what's his name? Hassan. It's not the Hassan we all know and love, but on MSNBC.
Mehdi?
Yeah, I think. Oh, I have it written down here. It's I'll get to him, but I'll just read the other so you can find his name while I read this. So he, in this interview, and several other interviews, I'm sure, compared himself to BlackRock and Vanguard. Like they were good things.
Mehdi Hassan.
Mehdi Hassan. Yeah, I feel like it was Mehdi. BlackRock, Vanguard, not great companies. Andrew, for people who don't know what those are, can you quick description of what these? Well, they're not. I don't know. Just mercenary groups. Investor mercenary groups, I would call them in a way.
Yeah, I mean, they buy a bunch of like houses around the country.
Yeah.
And then they keep those houses empty and like drive up the cost.
Yeah.
They do so with rentals as
Hedge
well.
funds,
They're
basically.
yeah, they're basically a hedge fund that went into real estate, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how they started, and then they went into real estate, and they essentially like buy out like entire neighborhoods. And then up the price on all the houses in that neighborhood, right? So it's just like the corporate monopoly version of our housing market.
Right.
Are these two are cornerstones to it?
But one of them owned Hasbro, technically. Was that?
I don't
am
know,
I thinking
that
of a wrong
wouldn't
guy?
surprise
I think
Hasbro
it's Vanguard. But that might be
Hasbro
wrong.
owns Wizards of the Coast, which owns Dungeons and Dragons. So and Dungeons and Dragons has never done anything wrong. Ask Wizards of the Coast.
Sure. Yeah, well, Vivek has done lots of things wrong. One of the things was pushing an Alzheimer's drug that just didn't pan out. And, in his defense, that most Alzheimer's drugs don't pan out, but he was touting it like it did, and then said he made just an assload of money off of it when, in fact, he was gone from the company before it actually made its money. But you have to remember that they filed stage 3 or whatever with the government before he left. So that was him actually making that money, like claiming basically that he helped make all of this money for these companies, just like Donald Trump does, when in fact he did not really well, and tells you don't know about biotech if you don't. If you are trying to question him on this. I'm like, okay, bud.
Not only is he a grifty, like Wall Street, like investment trader type corporate, like pirate capitalist.
Yeah.
Like not only does he have all the
Capitalist,
negatives.
that is a term.
Not only does he have all the negatives of Mitt Romney, but he has all the negatives of Donald Trump on top of it. Just a real package. And then on top of it, he's in my age range. So I hate him more than both of those other two other people.
How old is he? 30, he's like 36?
He's under 40, right?
37? Yeah, he's under 40. He's our age. I think he's just he just became legal to run for president. But yeah, he claims that he
38.
proved, he's 38. Okay. That 5 of his drugs got approved from the FDA, and that he made all this money for shareholders. He didn't. Trump claimed the same kind of bullshit. I mean,
either way, fuck them. Shareholders are rich fucking.
Yeah, who cares? Okay,
like,
cool. You made money for shareholders. Great. Now,
Yeah.
how does that translate to being the president, you knob?
You
Good
profited off
grief.
of you profited off investing and marketing a drug that wound up not working at all on a condition that rips people's lives apart every day, that should be free, that the government should be investing internationally to try to cure.
Oh my God.
like you not only did you make your money in the grossest way possible, it didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
Like on top of that, not only were you a sleazy salesman who lied, you were selling snake oil to people who are like lose loved ones in their lives over this like disease that slowly rips away like the brain of somebody who is the most intelligent person Like it is amazing to me that not only is he running on these business accolades as if they are something to be cherished, but that it's working with the Republican Party.
Yeah.
It's not amazing to me. It totally makes sense. But it's amazing to me that there is a political party in the United States that's like, fuck yeah, this guy's a businessman, so that's good. And it's like his business was making snake oil and taking advantage of people who were terrified of Alzheimer's or currently suffering under it. And then on top of that, not only does it not work, not only is he doing that, but he comes into this debate unknown and runs the entire Trump playbook. He's a fucking copycat. Like the way he moves his hands, the way that he talks over people, the way that he in an interview just denies outright facts even when he's replayed videos in front of him. Like
shows tweets, shows statements he's made. Like, my God.
Yeah. And the like anti-Ukraine like attitude is it's like it's also like we talked about this earlier before we were on camera.
How many times we each touched our heads just now?
he's Reddit fucking incarnate.
He's like, Reddit incarnate.
If Reddit had a child, it would be fucking Vivek Ramaswamy. And like as annoying as all that is, like as somebody who grew up with people like this, I like he's going to be annihilated in the Republican Party, in my opinion. Like when it really comes down to it, even though he's stealing the spotlight for the moment from DeSantis, like he will be annihilated. Because of his faith and the racism in the Republican Party and the evangelical base, and B, because I'm sorry, but the moment if Donald Trump ever does debate these people or gets on stage with them or he does an interview side by side with them, all Donald Trump has to say is like, Ramaswamy, we got Ramaswamy over here making promises he can't keep. Ramaswamy, he's a young guy, I like him. He's really, really smart, but he's not ready to be president, folks. Like, plus he believes in a dog god. Like, he believes in the god that's different. It's weird. It's a crazy, weird god, and I don't know what it's about. Like, he's going to call him Ramaswamy one time.
Ramaswamy, there it is.
Yeah,
oh my God, that's all he has to do.
Ramaswamy one time. He's going to be Ramaswamy.
Rhonda Ramaswamy.
Yeah. That's why I think it was a mistake for Trump not to go on the debate stage. Yeah, I think it was a mistake.
So
I think he could have ended the fucking primaries like on the debate stage if he would have gone up there and snorted some Adderall and been on his best. Like he could have walked into that debate stage and just been like Ramaswamy, Fat Chris Christie, and Mikey Pence
and
that can't even do
Tim
a job.
Cook. Tim Cook,
I don't even know who that guy is.
Guy can't even get laid. Like,
who are you? Yeah.
Says he has a girlfriend now, by the way. Tim Cook has a girlfriend.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, she's in Canada and she doesn't go to the school.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but she's like super hot.
Like, cool. Like a model? Is she a
Yeah, she's like a model.
Totally
and
a model?
Like she's right. Yeah, and she's really into like Warhammer and like Star Wars.
Right on. That's cool.
And playing D&D. Yeah.
She's
and
like a girl's girl. She's more like a guy's girl, you know?
Yeah, she's more like a dude, like in a way that like none of my like sexist opinions really reflect onto her because she's a made up character. I mean, Tim Scott has a girlfriend. Yeah.
Tim Scott has a girlfriend. Okay, yeah. So Vivek, here's some more dumb things he said real fast. I'm just gonna blast through like 3 of them.
Have fun. I'm going to sit here and look poised.
Okay. He claimed that he would have reformed voting by January 6th and have Trump sign it into law on January 7th and then immediately begin the campaign after that if he were vice president. He wants to pull apart Russia's friendship with China and basically make them our best friend and our biggest trading partner and leave the Ukraine war.
Tell me you haven't studied history.
Oh, right.
Tell me you haven't studied history without telling me you haven't studied history.
Right.
You think that Russia and China are actually allies. Oh, yeah. Well, you famously think Russia and China are allies. Like, give that 40 years, baby.
Yeah. So he also, what was one of the things? Oh, he wants Ukraine to still have its sovereignty at the end of the day. So, like, meaning, they want to he wants them to give up Kiev, I think that's what he was leaning towards. But basically, he wants Vladimir Putin's wish for the outcome because I think that's all he wants is just Kiev, like that chunk of the country he already took. But
I think that he's just playing the fiddle to those who are lighting Rome on fire, right? Like he recognizes that the far right base doesn't like the Ukrainian war and really likes Putin. Like they like the fact that he's a like theocratic zealot, murderous authoritarian.
Yeah. I mean, they did that kind of thing.
He's like imprisoning trans people and like making being gay illegal and like is like a Western force to try to take over. Like they like that shit.
Yeah, they're in love with
just playing to it, and it's gross. But yeah.
So another one he said, and I couldn't find what exactly he said about 9/11, unless you know what it is. That he was misquoted about 9/11, and that the Atlantic didn't release the whole tape. Well, the Atlantic they released an edited copy. They cut out the question at the beginning. I think that was it. He's like, well, if you say the question, if you put the question in or whatever, then it all makes sense, and it's not just cherry picked. I'm like, well, you can keep saying that, but they released your statement verbatim. Your words weren't cut in a new funny way to make your statement false. What you said is what you said.
What he said was, I think it's legitimate to say how many federal agents were on planes that hit the Twin Towers. Maybe that answer is 0. It's probably 0 for all I know, right? I have no reason to think it was anything other than 0. But if we're doing a comprehensive assessment of what happened on 9/11, and we have a 9/11 commission, absolutely, that should be an answer that the public knows the answer to. Like he's just playing once again.
What does that even mean?
Whatever room he's in, and he's playing the conspiracy theorist there. Yeah, he's saying that that feds helped set up 9/11 because there were feds on the plane. He's not saying that. He's saying I don't know. It could be a question. So the feds
suicide bombed 9/11.
Yeah. 9/11's an inside job, is what he's arguing that old adage of 9/11 being an inside job. Like he was playing to whatever audience he was in front of.
Right.
And then he said,
is that a thing Republicans play to? Like, do Republicans believe that? I didn't think they did. I thought that was a fringe weird. I didn't know who believed that actually.
I mean, I would say fringe on both sides. You know, dive into 9/11 conspiracy theories, but I mean, like, I don't know. We're not going to have a 9/11 episode.
No, I don't want to do that at all because we'll get demonetized very fast. But
well, also, like, the problem is like any other major historical event that involves multiple governments and people, like, there's a lot of questions I have, but I certainly don't think that, like, it doesn't matter. I don't want to get into this.
Yeah. No. It's just I'm just surprised that that's a right wing thing.
I think if you're running for office, you shouldn't suggest that federal agents themselves helped, like not even bureaucrats or the president or like the military, but like federal FBI. What he's doing is implying that there's a long running thread that the FBI is anti-conservative.
Oh,
that is what he's doing.
That's what he's.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
He's saying that like with Ruby Ridge and fucking and Waco and fucking like he's playing into that narrative on the far right base that like big government includes the FBI and the police, and what they're doing to Trump is just a continuation of that.
Oh my God.
That is that's what he's playing into with that quote. Yeah.
All right.
He's saying, what if they did 9/11? Like, there's a lot of deep state stuff going on. Like, it's that shit. Like,
oh man, so that fringe is really kind of, I mean, is it everywhere? Is it the whole Republican Party at this point? I don't think it cannot be the whole Republican Party at this point. Like, I mean, Mike Pence doesn't believe that. Chris Christie doesn't believe that. Nikki Haley doesn't believe that shit. I don't.
Well, a lot of the donor class doesn't believe it. Yeah. But a lot of the donor class doesn't believe a lot of what the base believes. Sure. They're just willing to throw red meat at the base in order to get lower taxes. God. Like, okay, percentage of the GOP and QAnon. That'll give us a good, like,
a good. While you look that up, one of the things
a quarter in 2022 at that time in February of 2022, so 2 years ago, pretty much, 1.5 years ago, like they reported that roughly a quarter of Republicans believe the Q conspiracy. About 44 million people, 16% of population of the whole.
Jeez Louise, that's a lot. Oh,
and those people, like, they believe that shit, you know? Like, they believe that the United States federal government is a liberal, globalist, communist, Jewish conspiracy to take over the world. Yeah. Like,
so many buzzwords all in one sentence.
Well, that's like that's Jordan Peterson is just buzzwords and then long, like, add, a global Judeo-Marxist plot, a cultural Bolshevism.
When I first heard people's impression, I thought it was exaggerated, and then I was proven wrong. My God.
I only eat meat. Look at the Chinese government. They're milking men.
Come and cancel me, liberals.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites. That was so stupid.
Checkmate.
God.
We'll see who cancels who.
We'll see who cancels who. That's what it was. Oh my God.
Yeah, so speaking, like, a lot of these right wing figures are just super villains that don't have any billionaires like funding. Like Roger Stone, Jordan Peterson. Like, it's very much they give like diatribes like a villain would before. Yeah. Like I base a lot of my big bad evil villain speeches off of real right wing conservatives.
Oh,
like
boy.
what they if they were just like there's definitely some like Andrew Tate, like Ben Shapiro and Grisette, you know, like there's definitely a little bit of like
game.
self-hating like lover boy, like you know what I mean? Like these are they say things that I would be like, please don't roll initiative right now. Like, please.
So I don't have to quote Andrew Tate
because no, please don't, because I have this whole speech that I've prepared of this evil monologue, and I really don't want y'all to interrupt it till I'm ready. So if y'all could just play along here.
Sure. So speaking of like more evil with Vivek, but
Vivek is the Riddler.
Yeah, Vivek is definitely the Riddler. Oh my God, that's a perfect. Oh wow, he really is.
It's a good casting. Yeah,
he's the Riddler. Agreed with Bernie Sanders on something. The masks for all, a bill mandate. I don't remember if it was just a thing he was trying to push that everybody could get masks.
Yeah, everybody gets shipped masks by the government. Yeah.
Called it a sensible idea on Twitter, not X, Twitter.
Well,
I have to say about that.
Twitter.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Elon Musk. He called it a sensible idea, and
it won't exist in a year or two. So don't worry
tried to deny that, like on multiple things, especially the thing we were watching today. It's just like, dude, come on. It's like it's just another culture war thing that he's trying to push, and it's so.
He's I think it's a demonstration. It's very hard to run for president and not have the media dig up every little thing on you, and that's a demonstration of that.
Do you not think this is going to happen?
But he's But the thing that's important to speak to politics larger as a whole, especially American conservative and Republican politics, is that he has adopted the Trump value of just deny, deny, deny. Like, even if you're quoted and put on screen, like, that is what's important. Is there has been a political shift in like debate and rhetorical tactics on the far right, and that is to just lie. Like, I don't care if the facts are put in front of me. Like, I won't acquiesce to anything. I won't ever compromise. I won't ever agree that I did anything wrong. I will just say that you're, fake news, that you're lying, that you have a bias against me, and whatever I say is the truth, because you can only believe me and the people who agree with me. There is no truth other than the truth that I say right now at any given moment. And that is the scary part. And the thing is, Vivek is young. So I think he could get a lot of young conservatives on his side. I do think a lot of older boomer evangelicals will not vote for him because of his religion. But I think that he could get a lot of the like fascist frog troll Pepe fucks that are on 4chan and Reddit to fucking vote for him.
Yeah.
Because like DeSantis did, like that was DeSantis's base, was a bunch of internet idiots.
Yeah.
Like I think Vivek could steal that base pretty easily for sure. And then he argues his way into and then he argues his way into a cabinet position on the Trump administration.
For sure. Yeah, he's probably wants what the head of the Federal Trade Commission or something like that, or
I mean, you take anything when you're a businessman, right? Like it moves you to a different class of people instead of just being a rich person billionaire. Like now you're a rich person billionaire who is like you're head of a fucking bureaucratic agency, or you're an ambassador, or you're
he doesn't want that though.
You're running for office. Well,
he doesn't want any. That's jumping ahead a little bit, but he definitely.
I think we should.
Wants to. I
didn't mean to bring that up. But
no,
it was an organic
transition. Where is that? He wants to gut like almost all of the government, including the FBI, IRS, and CDC, and shut down the administrative state and make the elected officials be the ones who do the administrative stuff. Like they need to be the ones running the government. I'm like, that's not how it works. It's this election's 9 Herman Cain plan. 9. Oh, rest in peace, man.
It's a ridiculous. Trump literally killed
He was
the man.
hilarious. I know he killed Herman Cain. It's insane. Like by bringing him to that. Well, Herman killed himself by showing up,
and then used his Twitter account to, afterwards to defend Trump's policies on COVID.
It's so funny.
I love right wingers, man. Hogs are the best,
dude.
Liberals are so annoying. Hogs are just what they are, and I kind of respect them for it. Like they're just so openly just what they are.
Yeah.
I don't respect them at all for it.
No, don't respect the troll, I guess. Respect the stupidity.
I respect human nature's ability to be varied is my response to that. I think that Vivek is, he's just the latest flash in the pan too. Like in the primary, it's going to repeat exactly what happened in 2016. Like the Republicans are going to go through 3 or 4 of these people that they're like, okay, no, this person is the alternative to Trump, and a bunch of the donor class is going to prop that person up, and that person's going to, lose credibility when they're interviewed by the press, or something comes up from their past, or whenever they prove that they're a fucking lizard person in human skin, like Ron DeSantis, and they'll all fall, and Trump will be Teflon Don, and he will get convicted, and he will appeal it, and he will run for president nonetheless, and he will get the nomination, and he very well might win, because Joe Biden isn't taking this seriously, and this is the closest we've ever been to an election that I've ever seen any sitting president not be taking it seriously at this point. And I think they're resting on their laurels, and they think they can win this easy, especially if he gets convicted. And I don't think we can win this easy.
Not at all.
I think we have to engage voters out. He has to make a promise. He should be saying right now, not only am I going to find a way to actually get rid of student debt through a different means and describe it to everybody, which there are multiple platforms to do that as president, but not only should he say that, he should say, I'm going to legalize marijuana now that I've moved it off the regulated Schedule 1
Did we do that to sidebar? Has that happened officially?
I think they are planning to move it from Schedule 1 to another
which
schedule.
Basically means
so we don't know
happen.
what yet. Yeah. It's going to happen.
Okay.
But that's an internal decision, right? Like he could say, I'm going to not enforce the laws at all anymore. I'm going to tell the FBI to stop raiding pot shops. I'm going to.
Obama did that already.
Use the executive branch. Well, they're still getting raided, even though Obama said he did. So I don't know about that.
Okay. I thought that happened. It's not.
Okay. I mean, the way we guarantee is to pass a law. We pass a law in Congress, and that's what he should be doing right now. He should be running on. Let's get the House back. Let's win big against Trump, because he's going to be the nominee. He's going to be convicted. Let's win against this felon, and let's win the House back. And I promise that I will pass the most significant progressive legislation in a second term in United States history.
Yeah.
That's what he should be promising, because that would get young people out to vote. That would get people who voted for him who hate Trump out to vote, that are now like, whatever. Like, let Donald Trump be Donald Trump and say his crazy shit and win the Republicans over and whatever, and get convicted and still run and say the most ridiculous shit. That was an okay part of the plan with Hillary. It was just not doing anything else. And Biden followed that same plan in 2020. But the difference was COVID, right? Like, people were so scared and tired of COVID. And the president got it a month before the election, that it was like, yo, we got to try something new, like, as a response to this. Like, and I think that really changed the voting scheme. But now people are, like, the economy's doing a bit better, even though inflation is fucking us all over and rent is fucking us all over. Like, people have jobs again. Like, people are, like, back to almost normal in America, like, quote unquote normal, even though it's horrible what normal is considered.
Sure.
And that makes them complacent, right? Like,
yeah.
And I am very worried that Donald Trump will win. But Vivek Ramaswamy is not going to win the Republican primary.
He hasn't.
He's just in second place right now.
Yeah, he's in. And think about this too. Like, we have talked about this many times. We talked about it on the Almost Presidents podcast. Like, that Ron DeSantis was the guy who was going to replace Trump, and he wasn't. Pete Buttigieg was going to be the front runner of the Democratic Party. Guess what? He didn't. Like, multiple people were going to be the new, like, knight in shining armor that was going to show up, or whatever analogy you want to use, and none of them were. Vivek is just the latest lamb for the slaughter before Trump. Like, one thing, he said that he didn't vote until 2020, which was for Trump, which in fact is false. He voted in 2004 for a pro-choice libertarian. So
gross either way.
Gross either way. But he also said he wants Trump to be his advisor and mentor when Vivek becomes president, despite saying, and I'm going to quote Vivek directly, being a sore loser is a danger to democracy, no matter which party you come from his book Nation of Victims, page 112. Also, what Trump did last week, and this was on January 12th, 2021 at 5:45 a.m. So he's up thinking about this for some reason, or he's just so successful that he's up at 5:45 a.m.
I'll defend the man on this. Like, I don't keep a real sleeping schedule either. Like, yeah,
true, fair enough. I'm up at 6:45 every day.
Yeah. That's you. There's a 15% chance that anyone could call me at any moment in time, and I'm asleep for the 4 hours that I get a night,
and then the equal chance that you're awake.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and then that only adds to 30%. So there's a 70% chance I'm incorporeal, I guess.
There you go.
At any given time.
So the next thing he said about him, the man he wants to mentor him, about the January 6th riot. What Trump did last week was wrong, downright abhorrent, plain and simple. I've said it before and did so in my piece. I don't know what piece he's talking about there, but he called what Trump did downright abhorrent, and yet still wants him to be his mentor? Like, so this person who committed treason in your eyes, I'm not putting words in Vivek's mouth. Sorry, Vivek. I know you really don't like people putting words in your mouth. That's why you're so mad at The Atlantic for releasing that altered clip. So sorry, Vivek. But
Vivek, I know you're a friend of the show. We don't want to,
friend of the show, Vivek Ramaswamy, the once and future not president. But yeah, you want this man to be your fucking. You want him to be your mentor? Then he also claimed that he wrote an op-ed saying that that censorship is the real criminal here in the election, when in fact. He did write a op-ed, but it doesn't talk about that censorship is the real villain at all. According to CNN...
He just lies.
Yeah, he just lies. Him and this guy that wrote this op-ed, which does exist, but said CNN found that they argued that social media companies are violating the Constitution when they censor users, and they warn that Silicon Valley is stifling the voices of the disaffected Americans who would lead to future terror that would make the Capitol riot look peaceful by comparison. They never argued in the op-ed that censorship was even a partial cause of the January 6th riot, which they described as disgraceful, last week's horror, and a stain on American history, let alone its primary cause. So he's full of shit, guys. This man, like,
right.
God,
I mean, like,
God.
it's Like he's just lying. He's
effortlessly.
Just
he's George Santos
right
he's
now.
Donald Trump. Like my God, the effortless liars that we keep producing, and now they're getting younger. George Santos and Vivek Ramaswamy, two of the most Trumpy liars that do it like they're just drinking a cup of water, like easy
it's
going
almost
down.
like Republicans have an affiliation with being conned by authoritarian, like strongmen. It's crazy. It's almost like as a group of people with their philosophy, it's very easy to fall in line with the great man theory that someone's going to come along and save you. And like it's going to be one person that saves the nation and your people. Yeah,
just like our last episode.
I think that it is inherent in the philosophy of like a lot of like far right people, no matter what nation or time they're in, that like, well, all we need is this one savior, King Arthur, Jesus, like Captain America, to come save us, and fucking they'll solve all the problems. When the truth is like working unions, like people standing up, women fighting for the right to vote, like black people fighting back for their own rights here in America. Like these things didn't happen because one person decided. The Civil War didn't happen because one person decided. It's because a lot of like rich landowners didn't want to listen to Lincoln's election, who won because there were 3 candidates in an election on an offshoot. Like Lincoln didn't decide to free the slaves just one day. Like
no,
that's
he
what
did
we
it
teach
because it was like a last resort for himself. He also won by like 30% of the vote. Yeah, it was all bullshit.
It was political machinations. Yeah. He was like, and I'm not saying like we have to judge Lincoln exactly as we do today. I'm not saying Lincoln wasn't a good person or didn't do great things. I'm just saying that like there's no such thing as a figure that's going to show up and save us, people. And like, there's no such thing. We have to save us. There is no like God or aliens or political figure that's going to like solve all the problems. Like we have to confront the problems as the reality they are, and then use our own ability to change them through the machinations of government and society. And thinking that one person, because they're president, is going to do that. Like, remember what Trump said at the Republican convention in 2016? Like,
pick one.
There's so many problems, and I alone can fix it.
I alone can fix it. Yeah.
I alone can fix it. Anyone who ever tells you, whether they're a priest, they're a salesman,
is biblically the Antichrist.
A politician.
Like, just saying.
They're bullshitting you. Like, they're lying to you. Anyone who says, I alone can fix it is lying to you. Like, you are not the hero of a young adult novel. Like, sorry, it is not, that's not how the real world works.
Everybody wants to be Katniss Everdeen. I'm just saying.
Well, every time we've accomplished anything great, it took literally like anywhere from dozens to thousands to millions of people to do so. So like, like we are a cooperative species. Every accomplishment we've ever, yes,
the workers. By the way, watch Strike: A Brief History of the Workers' War. Now
the Internationale starts playing behind us, and a plug happens. They are looking for the next Trump. And that is why he's emulating Trump in that strongman way. But they already have their next Trump. His name is Donald Trump. You can't run in 2024 and expect to win the Republican nom. I don't care who you are.
So hypothetically, before I get into the rest, there's so many more lies I have here. I may not even get to all of them, but hypothetically, he does is ineligible to run because Colorado is trying to remove Trump from the ballot right now. Is Vivek the front runner, or is Ron DeSantis? Because Ron's a wet blanket. And everybody
No. You're misunderstanding. The secretaries of state will remove him from the ballot for the general election. Like they don't have any control over a private primary.
Well, okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, but like if he's being removed, can the GOP say, well, you can't? Like, if you can't be on the ballot, then why have you even?
That's a great argument, Tim. You should talk to some people in the GOP about it because I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I just it just doesn't like.
That's a great argument.
Administratively,
That's the
it doesn't
argument I would
make sense.
be making if I was Mike Pence.
Yeah,
that would be the argument I was making if I was Ron DeSantis. Is like, no matter how you feel about Trump, if a bunch of Democrats keep him off the ballot, we can't win in 2024. Like that would be a great argument to make politically, and still be a coward and refuse to attack Trump.
Yeah.
But they're not making it. I don't know.
No,
like the truth is if a Democratic AG in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, and that kind of shit pulls Trump off the ballot, in the way that the system is structured, there is just no way he can win. If Arizona and Pennsylvania and Michigan get rid of him on the ballot, or Minnesota or something, like there is no way he can win. But that will not stop Republicans from voting for him in the primary. Because they will say, because they believe that the majority of people want Trump to be in office and that it was stolen last time.
Yeah.
And that if they just write his name in at the bottom of it, like that's what they believe. You know what I mean? So it's like, nothing is going to change. Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee until Donald Trump is dead.
Sure.
I believe that.
I saw a meme the other day that one of the head of the Proud Boys.
And
just
hey,
went to
I'm
jail.
not calling for anything to happen.
No,
I hope
no.
that he's the nominee
Yeah.
for the next 20 years, as long as we run somebody better than Joe fucking Robinette Biden.
Yeah.
But but you know, I'm more worried now, and we're getting into the next podcast topic next week. But like I'm more worried now about like what happens with Joe Biden. Like, what if he dies? You know, like 3 weeks before the election in a heart attack. Like, that's one of the biggest factors in 2024 that scares me is what happens to Joe Biden. You know, up until the day the election happens.
I mean, he seems to be healthy. Like, like he may be a bit, slow. I don't know. He seems physically healthy. Like him and his wife work out all the time. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't. He doesn't seem like Trump, who's definitely a human hamburger. Like he eats McDonald's every day of his life because he's afraid to be poisoned.
Trump is there. Trump is there. Like he's not smart. Don't get me wrong, but like he's active to a response. He's reactionary quick. Joe Biden, whenever he's having a conversation, seems like your grandpa. Like that's what he seems. He
does.
Like.
Yeah.
He seems like a traditional grandpa.
Yeah.
And he seems slow and like he's like, gosh, he whispers whenever he has a point to make. Like
I wish he wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I
really wish he'd stop doing that.
The idea that Joe Biden has just as much energy as Trump. The only time I've seen Joe Biden be as energetic as Trump is in the debates because I think Joe Biden likes debating people. I think he is a debate bro at heart too. He's just way better at it than Ramaswamy because he's old. He's been doing it for years, and he knows not to blow his load early and have to talk over people and yell. He knows that you can build up to that as a debater. But I think that Joe Biden in interviews and shit, like people aren't excited for Joe Biden. Like
no.
The one thing he has going is that he's normal. Like I
we haven't heard from him at all. I was just
the Trump days
thinking about that. Like we hear from Trump every single day, 10 times a day. And I don't remember the last time I saw Joe Biden speak.
Obama was out campaigning at this point, like in his reelection. Like he was out hitting cities. Like he was talking about what he had accomplished. Like he was talking about what he wanted to do in a second term.
Yeah.
Like that's what we need to be doing. And Joe Biden is on the sidelines still, like smiling and taking pictures of the White House. And it's called the Rose Garden strategy, but it's supposed to be something you choose to do, not something that's forced upon you.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's forced upon Joe Biden because they know they can't take him out and about without him committing 1,000 gaffes or falling down or having a heart attack or who knows what else because everyone around him is like knows they're dealing with a fucking egg. Like it's the egg assignment in high school. Like that's what they feel like. And we all see that and we all know it, but the alternative is like fucking clown Mussolini. So
Mussolini, that's a good one.
Like Mussolini in orange makeup. Like I like New Jersey Mussolini. What do you want from me? I like
that's a good one.
I'm working on it. We'll workshop it.
We'll get there.
Right.
Well, Vivek, to get back on course here, is just, I mean, he's basically like, again, we've said it already, I think at least 10,000 times here, that he's basically
Benito
the
Soprano.
same as Trump.
What about that one? No, that's not it.
So, but unlike Trump, he released 20 years of his tax returns. So he did one good, but even then he couldn't.
We should all do that.
Any of his,
you should have to release your tax returns.
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
Run for president.
If you're running for
that's
office,
fair.
oh my god,
yeah,
it was such an issue last time. But he also like lied about how much money he made and misled everybody there. And when it came to a bunch of the money lies as well as all the other lies, and when he was being interviewed by Madid Hassan, he told Madid that he's just bothering himself with silly details. I'm like, but you lied about all, like, he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not bothering myself with silly details. I want facts, and you lied about all of this.
Also,
it's so
you're right.
insane.
For president of the United States, the most detail-oriented job in human history, probably should be concerned with it. Probably should be concerned with the details, as journalists should as well. By the way, it's Mehdi. You keep saying Madid. You did it again.
Oh, Madid. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That autocorrected to something else in my note, I think.
Yeah, your notes are being Western colonialists.
Google
speaks to the integration of Western philosophy and AI.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyways, yeah, I think that like he gets called out constantly. I mean, like he got demolished in that interview, and there was one other.
It was
the
so
CNN
funny.
anchor. What's her name?
Dana
Bash. Dana Bash. She fucking chapped his fucking hide.
I mean, like,
was
funny. Very like, just
he can't
kind of
bewildered,
like by him too. Like watching her chastise him was like, but that's so not true. Or so, I don't know. There was something she said, just like I watched like the bewilderment go across her face of like, oh no, we got another one. We got
Yeah, the
another
media
Trump.
does not know how to deal with that personality. There are very few people who have interviewed Trump and done a good job, and I think the same will be true with Mehdi. Not Mehdi-Hasan, with Vivek Ramaswamy. I do think they've done a good job so far, but because he's green and he doesn't know how to like not freak out. Like his tactics in debate are fine for the Republican Party, like just lying and being like fake news works. But Trump never seems exasperated in an interview, right? Like that.
Vivek
that's
does.
the difference.
He gets like
exactly.
Like he does the thing where like when you're just really mad and then you're like trying to catch your breath, and I'm like, no, Trump does a weird sniffy thing because he is a drug addict. What did I say? I didn't say anything. But he definitely allegedly an Adderall addict at least. But
people are saying that.
People are saying that, Don. People are saying that. I don't know what to tell you,
Donnie. Two scoops, Donnie. I don't know what to tell you.
Both ways, motherfucker. Sorry, Mr. President. But
I'm sorry, Convict 43709.
Okay, I don't know if this is true. I need to fact check this. I just saw it on TikTok, but I think his prisoner number is the same Pantone code for one of the colors on his face. Like the Pantone code you look up in when you're doing Photoshop.
I'm choosing to believe it.
Yeah, I'm choosing to believe that. Yeah, I don't know if it's fully true, but like I'm taking it as fact right now.
I feel like they were cool enough to let him lie about his weight. Like there's no way that they fucking did a joke. Like because you would just put his real weight. Like there's I know they don't step on a scale like when you go to most jails or county or whatever. Like they just ask you what your weight is.
I guess they just do that.
It's to like if you escape or something. I guess like for records. Like the whole idea is like identifying you.
Sure.
Like,
okay, that makes sense.
And like the Trump people said that it's like we don't need to do this mugshot or all this weight stuff like because it's like he's the most identifiable man in the world. And
that's
there's some
true.
Truth.
I'm with him on that.
There's some truth logically to that. But the philosophical point is we make everybody go through the same process because our justice system is equal. Yeah. Like he shouldn't have been able to get in and out of there in an hour either. Like he should have had to go through the same process as everybody else, but they accommodated him, right? Yeah. Like there are people who are like Trump loyalists right now who cannot afford bail who are sitting in prison after this Georgia and these federal indictments. Right now. And
one guy just
he didn't have to worry about that.
He wasn't getting he was definitely had his lawyer who's bought by Trump or something like that, and they Jack Smith or
and when he got new representation,
whoever the lawyer is in this one, I don't know which case. I think it's the Georgia case. Or no, the Florida case. This is Florida.
No, this is the documents Florida, case. Because this is the IT guy that's on Mar-a-Lago who helped cover up
the IT guy
flooding the records.
Yeah, got a new lawyer,
destroying documents and hiding them. Yeah.
He's all no, they made me do this. Sorry.
If Trump's paying for your legal defense, he's paying for lawyers that are saying he didn't do anything wrong, and you're going to stick to that line, right?
Exactly.
If somebody else is paying for your legal defense, and they legal eagle classic lawyer look it over, they're going to go, yo, this looks fucked. You're fucked.
You were going to jail for longer than Trump somehow, and you didn't do half the things he did.
Yeah, you should take a plea. You should take a plea. And I mean, that's true. That's true. You know, that's true. What we saw with Nixon, that's true. Like when the donor upper class, the capitalist class, has decided that you're too hot for them to to touch anymore. You're fucked.
Like George Santos, that just came out about him. There's a risk assessment, not a risk assessment. I don't remember what it's called. But they basically a warning to the GOP, he's probably not going to win. You shouldn't back him at all. Don't give him money.
What amazes me is they wanted to do an autopsy in 2012. I was a nerd, right? 10 years ago, a decade ago, watching MSNBC in my mom's house, drinking whiskey, being a bartender. Before I came to New Hampshire for the first time, before I did any political organizing job, and I had just been a volunteer, I was watching this shit. And I remember the GOP after 2012 saying, we need to do an analysis, an autopsy on our party. We got to be better on immigration. We got to be less racist. We got to talk more about populist issues. We got to talk about taxing the rich a little bit more. This is a huge thing that Paul Ryan and starts with a B. John Boner were fucking Boner. John Boner was fucking talked about, and like that Romney talked about after he lost. Like, we need to do an autopsy. I remember that word specifically being used regularly on the Republican Party. And when they did that, it came back with all this like, oh, we need to become more moderate to attract more like center right and fucking center left people. Like, oh, we need to embrace immigration because a lot of people who are immigrants are conservative naturally, but they won't vote for us at all. Oh, we need to embrace black communities because a lot of black people are conservative, but they won't embrace us at all because the Republican Party is branded as racist. And instead, they put up Trump as the next cycle. The base did. The base chose it.
Could that be because the Tea
and I'm not
Party?
giving them any like. But the Tea Party is just the rich grass, like riling up, astroturfing that base, right? The Tea Party is the Trump people. It's the same people.
Yeah,
and
then
like,
they take full control though because of Obama's win and
yeah. I mean, there were definitely a lot more moderates in the Republican Party, like the farther back you go. But those people have been boosted up since Nixon and the evangelical and Southern strategy movement by the very wealthy on the right. It's just more and more money, you know, Coke money and 1,000 other fucking donors, by the way, that are millionaires and billionaires, that flowed into these people's pockets, and they had to keep ramping it up every election cycle. Every election cycle, we have to be more conservative. We have to give more to the base. And now we're reaping what they have sown. Yeah. And it is going to be a process because there's two different realities in America. I mean, there's infinite realities in any, there's 7 billion at least, but I mean, like there are two like generalities we can make about realities in America. One is that like our system is fundamentally corrupt and like there are a lot of things wrong with it and there's a lot of change we could do. Some people on this side would say revolution is important, but others would say we need to change the system working within it. And they are debating over how much like revolutionary idea and theory versus neoliberal idea and theory are the ways to solve the problems. And then there is a side that believes JFK never died and that his son is coming back.
Wait, that wasn't it. I know that this exists, but I wasn't prepared for it. Then there's the other side that believes JFK never died. I'm like, whoa, okay, holy shit.
That JFK never died, that his son and Donald Trump are actually still the president running a second army.
Wait, that John F. Kennedy never died?
And that nobody has been president because at some point in the 1800s we incorporated as a country.
The incorporated thing. Like, I've heard about this. Oh my god!
That if you're a sovereign citizen, you can't
sovereign
be the United States.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Sovereign citizens. And I can talk all day about them.
And that Jade Helm is coming any day, and that the number of the beast is on your social security card. You know what I mean? Like there are two different realities of people in our world, in our nation now, Tim. People who are arguing about how to solve the problems, and people who are in a fantasy land, like a completely and that fantasy land is easily manipulated by corporations and fascists.
You know, it's a fantasy land, Disney World, and it's wonderful. I love it there. Harry Potter land, also pretty nice from what I understand. Attack on Titan land, probably not the greatest place in the world, but you know, it's in Japan. They I
was about to name about 30 different fantasies that were not great to be in.
Wheel of Time, no.
Like Star Wars alone. Do you want to be an average person during the Galactic Empire in Star Wars? Tim?
Well, no. I mean, core world.
Living
maybe.
anywhere that isn't Coruscant. Yeah, exactly.
Coruscant,
living anywhere that isn't
fine.
the upper floors of Coruscant.
Lothal?
Okay,
I'd be okay on Lothal.
You can live on Coruscant, Tim. You're close to the planet base. How about that?
Like, oh god, yeah, no, outskirt areas. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I know in Star Wars, like, not to get deep into that, but there was like planets that weren't necessarily screwed over, but it was just like. But still, it was much better under the Republic. But even then, the Republic is just as bad as you find out in Andor.
Well, you know,
no, not Andor. The Mandalorian.
I am a fervent socialist droid separatist. I am a Duke command for life.
100%. Oh yeah, I loved the separatists. When I watched that episode of
the Republic and the Sith are a problem. I think we need to get rid of both of them. Yep. I think that we need to have a new Republic for sure, but we need to get rid of the entrenched Sith power within the system. And that's what I'm working towards.
Like think about
I can't
what
be
happened
blatantly about it.
Just in that war, the separatists used droids. The Republic, and the Jedi specifically, went as far as to create human beings and send them to the slaughter instead of creating droids because of cost.
And then canonically did what every nation, at least on our planet, does. Didn't take care of those clone troopers after the war.
Did not take care of them. Not after the Empire and not even when the Republic came back.
Just fired them.
Just
and
fired them.
Then conscripted people.
God, that haunting bit of Kenobi seeing a stormtrooper just begging for change on the street. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, it's also how they explain stormtroopers being bad at shooting versus the time of the Clone Wars versus now in the Republic, because the clones had all been trained from birth to be soldiers.
Oh,
and they knew how to shoot these high-powered E11 blaster rifles. They knew how to do it. But now they just conscript people and send them to basic, like we see in Solo.
Oh, yes,
and then they say, get out there.
That's why
they're
so
just
bad.
Conscripting average people that are shooting badly, as opposed to these stormtroopers that the Empire had designed when they were the Republic. Because at this point, they are resting on their laurels. They believe that they have killed the Jedi, and like, why do we need specialist forces?
Right.
Like, it's not like anybody could rebel against us and win.
Got it. Well, to wrap
the whole thing was an allegory for Vietnam.
Yeah,
the whole thing was an allegory for Vietnam.
Yeah,
Cambodia,
no, or Vietnam.
Well, yeah,
both,
Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, the idea of like insurgency against an imperial state. Yeah. Like in the woods, like the Ewoks are literally supposed to be the Viet Cong.
Oh God! Man, that makes it so much sadder. So wrapping up, speaking of fascism, and apparently someone who never saw Starship Troopers and said that's a good idea wants to make the voting age 25 unless you serve in the military or pass a test.
Dumbest policy position, like, out of all of them.
Unless you are, well, if you watch this show, you know that Starship Troopers is a satire. Their uniforms are made to look like Nazi uniforms on purpose. Yeah, it's supposed to be funny, kind of funny.
We attacked the bugs first. Spoiler.
We attacked the bugs first, and
for every science fiction novel or movie like that is about us fighting bugs, it always turns out we attacked the bugs first.
Like even the director was. I remember reading something. I think maybe I'm making this up, but this was like surprised that people like were agreeing with that society's like, but that's not what. Did you watch this?
I think the
same
original
movie
head
I
writer,
made?
if I write, the original head writer was like, this is supposed to be talking about how humans can easily be pulled into fascism. Like they can be a neoliberal fascism. That's the point of the movie, right? Like a black woman, like a person of color that is a woman can be the president. Yeah. And it can still be a fascist society. They've just figured out how to otherize something that's not human. Yeah. They've just been like, oh, let's go wipe out and commit genocide on this planet.
These bugs like that are half a galaxy away. Like that's like they show it on the map. They're very far away from Earth in this movie.
It is a common fascist tactic to disenfranchise people, right? To give less and less people the right to vote and make decisions about their government. And that is what he is suggesting. Personally, I think if you can sign up for the military, so 16 pretty much, you should be able to vote.
Sure.
Like the moment that we say you can drive a vehicle and sign your life away for the next 4 to 8 years, you should be able to have a stake in our republic. Maybe have
some sort of a citizen military that you could join, like AmeriCorps or something like that, where you don't have to go fight some person half a world away.
It's called militias or state guards. God. Like it's called, the Texas State Guard. Like
so one of the other fascist things that he is trying to do, and I know everybody likes to throw that word around and like, oh, liberals and leftists call everybody fascist when they don't like the things. Well, when you are fanboys, girls, people of something like taking away birthright citizenship and making the voting age 25, that's fascist. That is a fascist ideology. You may not be in control of the government and thereby be a technical fascist, but you will vote for that. I don't know what else you call that.
You can be a fascist and have no power, Tim. You can be a fascist and have no power. Fascism is an ideology. Are you suggesting that neo-Nazis that are like ostracized by their community aren't Nazis? Like they are fascists still. Like they just aren't fascists in power. Yeah, like it is a fascist ideology. I think it is fascist, not just I think. It is fascist, one of the tenets of fascism, to take away the right to vote, to sovereignty, like to enfranchisement. Yeah. And that is, and the reason they want to do this is because young people vote overwhelmingly Democratic, and old people like the idea of taking that away.
It's the death cries of
that wouldn't work in a general election. Can you imagine trying to win the presidency after having said, "I'm going to take away, a sixth of your right to vote as you're voting in this election after this"?
So insane.
Like, there's no way it would work.
You will literally radicalize every kid. Everybody under the age of 25. Okay, you just solidified Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's presidency. Good job, idiot.
Yeah. Do you want to see the number one way that Democrats win fucking the Tim Pool prediction of 49 of 50 states for Trump, like the actual opposite of that, where I would make a ridiculous prediction like that, Vivek Ramaswamy becomes vice president to Trump as a nom. They embrace the 25-year-old voting thing. Trump gets convicted, like looks like shit, like breaks his leg a month before the election going to court or something. And Joe Biden says, I'm going to get rid of your student debt for sure, and I'm going to legalize marijuana, and I'm going to present a public option if we take back the House. If that happens, Democrats won 40, and public option even won't solve the problem because
no, it won't. But it's a
still
step.
jack up
My
their
God, it's a
prices.
step.
But yeah, it is a step in the right direction. If he did those three things, and then Vivek Ramaswamy ran on the policy that 25 people under 25 can't vote, what you're telling is everybody who's 18 to 21 who might vote that they have to vote because they're not going to get to vote next time.
Yeah, like that's so dumb. He says he wants that this is all for reviving the republic and civic duty, one standard of law for everyone. Like, that's, I mean, you have here.
He says as he defends the billionaire who has like 78 charges against him. Yeah.
You gonna hold the rich accountable like Don, who's been almost not convicted yet. Sorry, Don. Sorry, you haven't been convicted yet.
One law for everyone, unless you're Vladimir Putin, like committing genocide and like stealing away children. Like no international law for him, I guess. Like no international law, no national law for my fucking banking friends or my fucking Wall Street friends. Like no. Rule of law equal to the fact. What it means is I want to prosecute Democrats and not have Republicans prosecuted. That's what they mean. Yeah. Like these are the people who were chanting "lock it up," like lock her up. Like,
I know
6
the
years
irony
ago.
is so
like
rich.
they're all fucking clutching their pearls about fucking politicians going to jail and being held accountable for their actions. Whenever 6 years ago they were demanding Hillary Clinton went to jail, and like the leftist approach to this, as opposed, I understand liberals are mad about like, well, we ought to. The leftist approach is it's like good, fuck them, more of them need to go to jail in general.
Put
like I don't
in
care
jail.
what party they are.
I literally just edited one of our clips today for an episode where 3 of these clips basically are you just saying, put everybody in jail who commits a crime. If you are Joe Biden, if you're Hillary Clinton, prosecute them all. Like, it's
okay.
Just, we don't care
if they're Democrat
That's
or
one
Republican.
thing. Like you YouTube commenters who think that we're trying always to defend Joe Biden. What few of you there are, comment and leave. Share the videos. It helps us out. But even if you don't like us, go ahead. Hate watch. I don't give a fuck. We hate watch you too.
Hey, like I forget who said it, but if you hate watch me and you're still watching me, you're still a fan, baby. You're still a fan, even if you don't want to admit it.
Like,
no death threats, but other than that, you're allowed to send me.
Well, those are filtered out. I have it on set for very strict.
That's probably why I haven't seen them.
No, there's some bad things people write. Like, you guys are crazy. Like YouTube commenters, and as a whole, like even why are you so just? It's always about having a hard-on for Ron DeSantis. Some guy called us, okay, this was my favorite one, and then we'll end here because I'm done talking about that dude bro douchebag.
I hate Vivek. He's annoying.
One guy
That's our
was
whole
on
podcast.
our Batman is a fascist episode. We were one of the shorts was just talking simply about who's better, like a better person, Tony Stark or Bruce Wayne. Obviously, Tony Stark. He's a weapons manufacturer, yada yada yada. The guy who comments, it's always a football logo, and as their profile picture too is the Baltimore Ravens. I won't forget it. He said, it's just because you two guys are like big betas and don't know
males,
Tony
Which
Stark.
Is true. I am a beta male canonically.
Tony Stark is self-made. Well, Bruce Wayne had all his stuff handed to him. I'm like, and then like 3 other people were like, Tony Stark was given his money.
Iron Man comment. Yeah.
Tony Stark got his money from his dad. Tony Stark got his money from his dad. I'm like, did you watch even the Avengers movie? He like goes back in time to meet his dad, who's a billionaire working for Roswell or Area 51 or something. Like, dude,
Jarvis is his dad's butler. That's why he names his AI Jarvis.
Yeah,
like his dad has a Pennyworth. He has an Alfred.
I know. That's why I like almost don't even believe that was even a real person or just someone who was just I don't know. Like it's like, but
it was a Musk fanboy who believes that Musk is self-made too.
Sure.
Like that.
I guess, but even then, like Bruce, I don't know which one. No, yeah, Bruce came first, but Tony is the Marvel's answer to Bruce Wayne. Like that's kind of what he is, and they're the same person. They both had billionaire parents. They died. Now they're billionaires themselves. They don't have powers. They were playboys.
They used human wit and genius and finance to be able to stand in the leagues with gods.
You know,
that's the idea behind their characters.
A better class of troll. If you're going to come at us, fucking come at us with something better than...
We don't, because you're asking for everyone to be a Donald Trump.
No, don't be a Donald Trump.
And I'm really
I guess he is the highest class of troll there is.
That's troll,
I know. Never mind. We need... I don't know. Like,
trolls.
We're not going to respond to
trolling each other.
Andrew might respond to you. Feb may not. I definitely do not care. But like, it's just, I don't know, man. The billionaire fanboy thing, the Elon fanboy thing.
I get to try out my insults.
Oh,
like, I get to like, it's like, you know, when Superman is fighting like Apocalypse or something, and he's like, you know what I love about this? Like, I don't have to hold back.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's how I feel about discussions with right wingers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, no longer am I like, okay, I have to consider this person's like opinions and their point of view, and like
there's some people
their emotional
like that
state
with,
right now, and like and if I care about them and that kind of thing, like on YouTube, I'm like no holds bar. I get to just say that I fucked your mom.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like I get to just be like, well, I fucked your mom and your dad last night, and they liked it, and they came like 3 times.
Yeah.
And how about that for your theory on Ayn Rand? Yeah. I gargled my balls in your dad's mouth last night. How do you feel about that economic policy?
Okay. I don't know how that
don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about what I mean.
I
don't want to explain it to you.
But it's sure. Why not? You know, there's lots of things that I'm...
You don't know what I can do with my balls.
Sure. Ow, I hit something. I guess that's the end of this. Once we start talking about balls and trolls, it's time to go. Vivek Ramaswamy, the once and future never president, Reddit come to life.
Ramaswamy.
Pop collar. God, we all did this in high school and thought we were the best.
Oh my God. This
like,
was a middle school era for me.
And then the double popped collar, I'll never forget it.
The multiple collars.
I saw a guy with 3 in high school once, and they were all multicolored. I'm like, man, we've got to be so hot, because polos, like, this is rather thin, but like the polos from a Hollister and Abercrombie were thick. Like, they were full cotton. They were hot. I remember I had one myself, but I never wore 2. And it was just, I sweated all the time. Like, and this is thin, and I'm sweating right now. It's like, God, I keep hitting my thing. You know what?
That's what he should be doing. Ramaswamy should be an Abercrombie model. Look at him, he's so skinny.
I mean,
look at him, he's so skinny.
Better job than trying to be president when you don't know how the government works,
Ramaswamy.
He does not know how the government
Ramaswamy.
works. All right.
I'm telling you, I just want to see a debate. He'll be fucked by Trump.
I really wish Don would, like, just, you know what? If only to just clear the field. Like, go ahead. Come in one time and clear the field.
The wheat from the chaff.
Don Jr., Eric, who he just threw Eric under the bus, and that was hilarious. He said that Eric's the one in charge of the company right now. I don't have much stuff. And
no, we don't have time for this.
We don't have time for this. I'm sorry, but it's just like, oh no, he really hates Eric that much, huh? Okay. Well,
I think that he loves himself that much is the answer. I think he'd throw any one of us under the bus, no matter who they are.
He'll bury his wife on a golf course full of documents that none of us will ever see again.
He'll bury his wife and then not clean up the area around the gravesite. Let it be overgrown.
Oh, he wants to because, well, dude,
he did.
Oh, I know he did.
The groundskeeper hasn't taken care of it at all.
They don't want to.
Like
he wants it to disappear because the theory, at least, is, and this is speculation, blah, blah, but he's put a bunch of documents in her coffin, and they can't dig it up because it's technically a cemetery. Like, that's...
Donald Trump is 100% a Greek legend. Like he is a fucking lesson about hubris and like... Oh my God. Like, he is a Greco-Roman god story. Like,
he really is. And you have Santos and Vivek all trying to be him, and you got guys... If you're watching, just don't do this. Stop doing this now.
Yeah.
Santos, all your people are getting arrested around you. Vivek, you don't know how the government works, and no one likes you, and you're gonna get wiped clean by Donald Trump the second he steps on that debate stage. He will cast fireball at 10th level on all of you. All of you. There, I made the D&D reference for once. Fuck, stop. Just stop. Go do something else. Do something else with your gift of gab.
Spells only go to 9th level after the weave was broken, but that's a whole nother.
Okay, well, I need to read the monster manual. All right. That's it. We're out of here. We've gone too long. God knows how long this episode is. It'll be fun for me to edit. We'll see you in 2 weeks to talk about Joe Biden being too goddamn old, I guess.
Unless something horrible
happens, we'll see. But yeah, watch
this timeline.
Watch Strike, listen to America the podcast, and all that fun stuff. We're here. Some of us are queer, and we're here for you to give you the news. All right, bye.
Bye.
been listening to America the Conversation, a production of Shway Media and America the Podcast Presents. The show was created and is hosted by Tim Phillippe and Andrew Turner. The show's theme song is by Timmy Two Step, and all other music and sounds heard in this show were procured through the amazing companies listed in our show notes. America the Conversation is mixed and edited by Tim Phillippe at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.